One of my signature storytelling programs took me to a food processing plant in rural Oklahoma. One of those places that is in such a remote area that you have to take planes, trains, boats, buses, hitch up the Conestoga wagons and travel for days, and then you get there. The food processing plant was transforming itself. It was becoming a smart manufacturing facility in order to remain competitive as a 21st century food producer. And let's just say things were not going very well at all. The current employees were working with some new employees with fancy new titles, and nobody was quite sure what anybody else was doing. The purchasing agents kept buying the same chemicals and additives that had worked great in the older capital equipment, but the new capital equipment with the connected software interfaces was very fussy, and it didn't like those older products. And HR kept hiring and onboarding using an outdated HR playbook just from a few years ago when things were less complex and less interconnected. So I arrived at the facility, I took the elevator up to the second floor corporate offices, and I met with the CEO. We were kicking off 2 days of meetings and facilitated training. And that's when the CEO said to me, you know, a meeting's popped up. Can you wait in that conference room down at the end of the hall? I'll be there with you in 15 minutes. Yeah, just go down the hallway, see the door down at the end of the hallway, open it up. Yeah, I'll meet you. You know, I didn't give his request a second thought. Walked down that hallway, opened the door, and took 3 steps forward and found myself on a catwalk, suspended 25 feet above the stun line in that slaughterhouse. Below me were cattle, destined to leave the slaughterhouse that day in packaged form. Have any of you ever been in a slaughterhouse before? Let's just say it's a complete spectacle. So I looked behind me at the doorway I just came through, and there on the corporate opposite sides was the CEO in a spiffy suit and tie, looking back at me, grinning. And then I looked down on the plant floor, and there were those plant floor workers in their bloody boots, bloody uniforms, safety glasses, and hard hats, looking up at me, grinning. Now, what would you do if you were standing with me on a catwalk suspended 25 feet above the stun line in that slaughterhouse that day? What would you be thinking? Anybody thinking, these guys want to embarrass and humiliate me? Anybody? Yeah, definitely was my first thought. Anybody thinking, oh, bless them, they want to turn me into a vegetarian? Said nobody in this situation ever. Anybody thinking, you got yourself into a good one, Babette. Great 1 millimeter moment you just walked into. And I figured I had 2 choices. I could go back through the doorway I just walked through, back into the safe, clean, comfortable corporate offices, and be the brunt of a lot of jokes and embarrassment for the next 2 days. Or I took a step forward and started following the cattle down their ultimate demise at the end of that stun line. Excuse me, sir. Yes, you. Hi. Yes, what's your name? Charlie. Hey, Charlie, I'm Babette. Babette. I guess there are no Babettes in Oklahoma. That's okay. You can call me Babs. Don't any of you get any ideas. You can call me Babs. What do you do here, Charlie? You're the foreman, and that's your brother Ed and his son Ed Jr.? Your whole family works here? Well, I'm very pleased to meet you. You know, it's amazing how you and I can create mutual trust and respect when we give ourselves permission to be fully present and in the moment, our 1 millimeter moments, when we literally step out of our own stories and connect our stories with our employees' stories so we can get to where we need to go together. Now, you may not work in a slaughterhouse, but your work environments and your corporate cultures can be just as messy and chaotic.